So I was sitting at a doctor's clinic and we were waiting at the reception. Receptionist observed Devansh for some time and then he says, "Isko koi mental problem hai kya?" That was my first. It was the first time when somebody confronted me like that. I was speechless.
Parenting is a very important life skill, and it's as much an art too. Well, the rules of the game remain same, be it for a mother or a father. On this episode of Unbound with Mamtaa, let's meet a rather very unusual and a doting father, Sandeep Verma, who is not only resetting the rules of the game but is also leading by a shining example. An autism advocate, parenting coach, he is a very happily single dad too. So you mind telling me a little bit about your you
Life.
know life, your
Okay.
ex-wife
Yeah,
or
sure.
whatever, like how
Of
how
course.
how did things happen for you?
So, about my life, I mean, before my marriage, I was like any other guy who would roam around, who likes to go places, and was exploring about professional life. It was just something new. Then life added a chapter of of marriage and being a husband, and then things took a turn that she and we had difference of opinions and different priorities. So, and then I mean, within a year, Revansh was born in 2016, and so here I will take a pause and uh, so I had different like perspective towards life even before that.
Hmm.
That I was more of a person who likes to read.
Hmm.
So I was reading a lot of motivational books and all those things. Probably it was within me back then also, that I was reading more of those quotes I used to remember and write them on my notebook,
Hmm.
whatever I used to like. So in those terms, I mean, I was complete. I mean, in a different aspect of life, not into usual stuff of how people are living their life. I had a different take on necessities of life versus
Hmm.
man-made things, man-made jobs. Mankind was not made for jobs. So that was my take on life. That I don't want to live a servant life, that going to a company, living, I mean, doing like 10-hour shift for no reasons. This is not what life is all about. It is Job is a means to earn livelihood, and that's it. Your life cannot revolve just around the job. It
Hmm.
cannot end there.
Hmm.
And so this is how I was like in a different mindset. And
How old were you?
uh, around 30, till
Hmm.
till my 30s, in fact. And yeah, then marriage happened. Then Revansh was born after a year.
This was an arranged
This
marriage?
was an arranged marriage,
Okay.
yes. So before Revansh was born, I had different aspirations, expectations, like any other father. I'll do this and that. I'll take my kid to swimming, to karate, to maybe going for a walk or this and that. All those
Hmm.
dreams that any parent might have. Revansh was born. It was like all going good, and like probably he had that maternity connect with me than his mom.
Hmm.
Yeah, he used to sleep on my chest
Hmm.
like a newborn kid. I remember when he was like a month old, he was not well. He was hospitalized, and he was with his maternal grandmother. So I was called there that he did not sleep for the entire night, and okay, fine. I was there. I mean, at the hospital, and then I just took him in my arms and I lied down, and he slept.
Hmm.
He slept for the entire day on my chest. He was well rested, and next day he was discharged.
Hmm.
Probably, I mean, I'm not sure if he was missing me that
Hmm.
moment or
Hmm.
something like that has happened. So, like, yeah, so things progressed, and yeah, Revansh turned to 2.5, but I could observe some changes. I mean, not changes as in, uh, but a kind of a difference of observations of him versus the other kids,
Hmm.
or how he responds.
Hmm.
Usually, so I'm not comparing here, just to call it out. That is not comparison, but from a
Yeah,
doctor's
but you
perspective,
would take
a
some markers,
reference,
right?
yeah,
That
a
yeah, that
different,
how is your child
yes,
growing?
yes,
That
yes,
is he on the right track?
a
What's his?
scale
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
usually
yeah.
doctors do,
Do
that
yeah.
uh, this is the mark that a kid should
Hmm.
start to crawl, to walk, to speak, to understand, to blabber words and to talk few
Hmm.
words. So I could see that he is bit delayed in terms of verbal communication. His physical markers were still good. In fact, he did not crawl. He started to walk straight away.
Okay.
That was a good one. So that's when I was getting worried. And around at an age of 2.5, I started observing that one of his eyes, like left eye, started to move towards it. It had delayed movements in
Okay.
comparison to the
Okay.
right one.
Okay.
So something was going wrong somewhere. Then I started to discuss with doctors, and when they inquired more about things, like about his daily routine, what he does and how he responds, looks at things, and what he plays and how he plays, then they call it out. You need to have a proper diagnosis done. So then we started off. We took an appointment in NIPCCT, National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development. So there, it took like good amount of time, like 6 months for assessments and for his reports to be out. But by the end of assessments, by we so we were interviewed like every month there. So during those interviews, I was convinced, the child has some challenges, and autism is the one, because this is where it was leading to. I mean, I had a reference point of the
Okay.
past,
Okay.
because luckily it just happened that 2010, there was 2008 or 10, there was a series which was aired on ZTV, which was about an autistic child.
Hmm.
So I used to watch that somehow. I mean, I was inclined, I was interested. I used to watch it. So I had that reference point that this is how an autistic kid behaves, and
Hmm.
this is a challenge they might come across. So with that, I was convinced, and during our last interview with the doctors, I asked them, that I am sure that is the case. So do you agree that I should get started with the therapies? They said, yeah, you should. And
Okay.
that's when, even before the reports were out after a month, he was put on to the therapies.
How old was Riansh at that time?
Uh, three, three something, 3+.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
turned 3 in March, versus his reports were out in April, May.
Hmm.
So it was like almost 3 years
What
and
was
two
your
months.
wife's take on it? She could accept it. She could
Uh,
understand it.
so
Were you on the
here
same
is the
page?
here is the tricky point here. So during those assessments, we decided that we are getting separated. So
But it was not related to
it was
this.
not related to this. Yes, of course, it was not related to this thing in particular. And she was not with me. So during the assessments, we were there together in terms of answering the questions, but we were not together in terms of
Staying together.
staying
Okay.
together.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is what happened. His reports were right, and we were like in a discussion and have decided that we are getting separated.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was a like life changing moment, when you actually hear somebody saying it for the first time, that your child has autism.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, of course, she could not take it well. I mean, she was with me right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
what
this is how
gives
it
you
is.
so much strength, Sandeep? What gives you so much positivity and so much strength to look beyond what is right in the face while others would just turn their back?
Actually, my son is the reason of this strength. Um, he's the source of my power. he has enabled me who I am today. I just recall the lovely moments I spent with him before the diagnosis. The diagnosis became irrelevant. The moment, I mean, he was 3 when the diagnosis happened, but before that we had so much time. We had those 3 years that I had spent with him, those lovely moments. I mean, the feeling of being a father, the feeling of being a parent, you know. And when he was 5 months, the mother left, so he was with me for almost a month that I was taking care of him. At, I mean, a 5-year-old kid. So I know, I mean, I've lived those
Five
moments.
months. He
Five
was five
months. He
months
was
old.
5 months. So like I used to go to office, come back, take care of him. I mean, he used to be my wife with my parents, and I had full day maid. But during night, he used to wake up, feeding him or putting him back to bed, then cleaning him, changing nappies, diapers, all those things. I've done that, and
Single handedly.
single-handedly, and that has given me immense of satisfaction of achieving something in my life. Okay, why can't a man can take care of a kid? Why is this misconception? Why is that? If we live in a patriarchal society, I understand that. And usually it is the case that people that men go out for earning livelihood. But does it also mean that men are incapable of handling a kid? It doesn't. Or is this society by large thinks that women were given the opportunity of taking care of next generation, that they had that compassion or they had that love within themselves? Are we as men, we not craving for that love and compassion? Or are we not receiving that love and compassion from our mothers? We do. So why can't we translate it to our kids or our children?
Well, that's the whole beauty of this show. And I am just so glad to have you, to welcome you. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for agreeing to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you've heard, and there's just so much more to what's coming. I have with me today an unstoppable human, yet another one, who would stop at nothing, who would challenge the status quo to an extent that he's here to bend the rules, not only for women, but men too. Welcome to the show, Sandeep.
Thank
Welcome to
you, Mamta.
Unbound. And, this is just, it's really a power episode for me to have a man sitting across and talking about mothering a child.
Yeah.
In so many ways, you are bending the norms. In so many ways, you are teaching the world, today's generation, that how equally capable as a gender that you are. But tell me something. Were you always prepared to be a parent?
Oh, well, no. As it is said that you don't have a handbook for being of parenting, of being a parent. So I was not prepared, but yeah, I always had that love for or compassion for kids. Kids used to feel so comfortable with me, my neighbors or otherwise my relatives, their kids. So they are so comfortable, and I was so. I mean, yes, I used to enjoy time with kids. So probably that was one of the things that, I mean, I always had in me
As an inherent
as inherent,
nature.
or
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, just being myself, or and but being a parent was a little tricky and challenging, but because when you talk about being a parent, it opens the plethora of entire future, or taking care of a kid from start till they become like adults. It is not
Yes.
just
The
about
journey doesn't end.
yeah, it never
It's a
ends,
never
it never
ending
ends.
journey.
So that's when, I mean, I was not prepared. So yeah, when it happened, and it was gracefully accepted. So this was what I tell people, that we never write a letter to God that this is the feature that I demand in my kid, blue eyes or fair color, curly hair, and all those things. We never write it. If somebody writes it, it gets what they asked for. You are lucky. But 99.99% people, they don't even think of it, right? So
True.
what you get is what you should I mean, gracefully receive it.
As a
And
gift.
as a gift, it is what it is. You cannot have a kid in exchange, right? They are, no, this is not what I want. I want the other one. You cannot do that. So this is what I mean. When Revansh was born, I mean, I was the happiest person on earth, like any other parent, and I accepted it. So when Revansh was there, like a minute old, probably he became the luckiest person to have somebody who loved him unconditionally. We all crave for somebody who can love, who can give you love,
Yeah.
unconditional love. And I will like most can say hyped feeling that we have. We all crave for it. Nobody thinks of giving love unconditionally.
Hmm.
And my son became the one lucky person just when he was a minute old to have someone who loves him unconditionally. And that's it. That's the end of story. Whatever happens next will be taken care of.
Wow. So tell me about your journey as a human, as a person. What's been your start? How were you as a kid to begin with? And tell us a little bit about your family as
All
well.
right. Yeah. So my father is a retired English teacher, so he was teaching back then, and my mother is a homemaker. So I have two siblings, an elder sister and a younger brother. So I was the middle one, and I was a notorious one. Elder sister, she was like back then it was more of and at that too born in a teacher's family. You were supposed to be disciplined. You were supposed to be studying. You were supposed to be doing this and that. I mean, at a particular time. And my father was like, iska kuch nahi ho sakta types. So, uh, and I used to take things my own way. I used to read when I wanted to, and if I'm not feeling like I would not read at all. During my exams, I used to read something, but God knows what. I used to write everything
I
which
think it's a
I
mystery for all of us
for
now.
all
How
of
did we
us.
go through and how did
Yeah.
we?
So yeah, so this is how it was. And so for me, despite not being interested, was put into engineering.
Hmm.
And yeah, cleared engineering, and then started off with some job, but I was not interested at all. And under the influence of my friends, I did post graduation.
Okay.
Everybody was like talking about, let's do MBA, let's do MBA, it will give us opportunities, this and that. Okay, fine, let's do MBA.
Mm.
Did that. But yeah, lucky enough that afterwards I got good opportunities. um, and yeah, I mean, again, it became still like exploring phase. Once you are done with your MBA, you're still exploring about where do you want to get settled, because I
Hmm.
mean, for a person who is like 22, 23, he still would want to explore
Yeah.
his interest. So that happened was, I worked for an airline also as a crew, went there for training, and then after 3 months of training I was like, no, this is not what I should be
Yeah.
doing. Came back back to Delhi, joined another company with into IT. Then I was like, IT is my first love, I want to go back to IT. So I went back, started off as an IT company, and then it continued into IT.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how the things went up and down.
When
And
did marriage happen?
so it happened back in 2015.
Hmm. It was a happy marriage.
um, Initially, yeah, nobody plans for a divorce. So yeah, it was an arranged marriage. And she's also an engineering graduate. She's in fact a master's in engineering. So she was doing her master's back then. And we met. We had that connect. We thought, things will work. And we all both, during discussions, we all, as we all say, we put our best forward when we
Hmm.
meet somebody,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to marriage, arranged marriage. That's what everybody does. In
Yeah.
fact, that's what couples do in who are not looking forward to a marriage. Otherwise also we put our best forward, that will, if we agreed on certain terms, this is how things will be managed, we'll have a good life. We got married and things changed.
Hmm.
Yeah, it happens that we live our life our own way before marriage.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody in your own house, you spend your 24 hours, then you see the challenges.
Hmm.
Yeah. The unfortunate part was she and I were not friends. She
Hmm.
and I were husband and wife. We could not become friends. And that's when things deteriorated.
Hmm.
You can be comfortable with somebody who is a friend to you, no matter what what they do or what
Yeah.
kind of shortcomings do they have. But if you're just living a husband wife life,
Yeah. It's just a role you're
it's
playing.
just a role. It becomes a role and becomes a burden on your own self, just
Hmm.
to show that whom you are not. And that's when we were like in discussion. This is not that we should be
So it
living.
was quite early in the marriage you figured it out, or
Yes, quite early.
okay.
um so yeah, this is what happened. I mean,
Yeah.
this is when we agreed, that society is not even going to give us a medal for living a life that we never wanted. And moreover, let's choose our happiness. Why not? And I don't want her to be judged on any terms. She chose her happiness, and let it be. Why
Hmm.
not? She offered Revansh's custody to me, despite the fact that, despite the diagnosis, she told me that you are the better one who can take care of him.
What made her think so?
Probably that I was taking care of him, like from the past 3 years, the way I was, or because she was not with me, but Revansh was with me when his diagnosis was getting done.
But were you prepared for this responsibility?
I actually was. Actually, in our discussions or in my mind, I had kept Revansh out of this picture. I was always of the opinion, if she offers me, I'll happily accept. If she wants to keep him, let her have him. I'll not fight over him. This is not a situation, or this is not a win that I want to prove over her, that I have Revansh. This is not the way. I mean, why can't we accept the fact that the things are not happening between us, and let's move on without proving right or wrong?
Hmm.
I mean, if we tend to prove right or wrong, we can go into an endless discussion. I mean, we can pick the smallest thing about the other one.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
can write books, but this is not the way. This is not the way. That's it.
I'm just so appalled with your magnanimity, Sandeep, that while, looking at that challenge which is staring you in the eye, which is about the child's own
Yeah.
disability, and then going through a rough marriage and having, and I'm sure there is some part of you that is unfulfilled when you don't have a good relationship, and then embracing not
Yeah.
only the situation the way that it is, agreeing to go for a divorce, and then further agreeing that, okay, if this is the responsibility, which is further going to possibly not make things easy for me in life, but I'm happy to take that. What kind of humans do that?
No, sure. It was just the love or the affection I have for my son, probably. Um, yeah. I mean, and this is, what? There's a saying, as people say it, that if you want something to be done best, do it yourself. So if you want my son to be taken care best, then who can do it better than me?
Wow.
Right. And that's it. It simplifies things. Keep on doing what is necessary, and you will do, I mean, even the unexpected things. Yeah, once my work is over, of course, then his time, his homework, or spending some time in terms of giving him some therapy. So now it is more about making him to speak.
Hmm.
So he's non-verbal. He was non-verbal till now, but he has
Okay.
recently started to blabber words. So now he's more interested in dinosaurs, animals, and some things that he has chosen. So we keep on like getting him into that therapy mode, that when we talk and he reciprocates, he blabbers those words,
Okay.
because that will make him speak.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when, I mean, my father or my dad, we engage him into those activities, such that he
Hmm.
keeps on repeating those words. At least he does. This is where we don't want him to stop.
Hmm.
So this what happens a lot when we say बोलने का फायदा नहीं है किसी को, मतलब in our own life we
Hmm.
say it.
Hmm.
We say it multiple times,
Yeah.
आपको तो बोलने का फायदा ही नहीं है, बोलने का फायदा ही नहीं है, and then we stop talking. Right, it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
This happens with kid also. if when they're talking, when they're saying something, you do not acknowledge, then they shut down. So this is what I don't want to happen with Revanche.
So whatever that he's speaking, he's blabbering, whether, of course, a lot of times it'll be very unstructured and unformed, you would continue to talk to him.
Yes, I would keep on acknowledging him. This is what I have. Even if I'm on call, I just mute myself. I say yes. That's it. I have to acknowledge. Acknowledgement, and that's when he said he would speak the next word. And that's how it is happening. I mean, it is the beginning. Acknowledgement is the key for making them to do certain things.
Tell me how much of preparedness it is taken on your own part to be a parent to a child with special needs.
Preparedness for being a parent. So unlike any parent, um, there's no book for me also. It was just the acceptance that I had in my mind that my child needs help and I will provide that. This is the only thing which I recall myself, that, and most importantly, that I'll walk alongside him with patience. संयम, संकल्प और समर्पण, ये
Wow.
तीन चीजें हैं which I think are the mantra of my life. संयम के साथ चल के संकल्प लेकर समर्पण कर दिया.
Wow.
That's it.
So beautiful.
So this is what I
So
feel
simple,
about
but so beautiful, and so not simple, though.
it.
Well said, well said. I would just want to ask that when this separation came about between you and your wife,
Mhm.
this was not over Revanche.
This was not over, Revanche.
But how did Revanche take it?
Okay. So before answering this, let me talk about autism first.
Yeah.
So autism is a neurological. The word is disorder here,
Hmm.
wherein the brain functions little differently. So for him, his understanding level is little different than kids.
Hmm.
What we usually observe in kids.
Yeah, of his age.
Of his
Yeah,
age.
Yeah.
So for him, things were irrelevant. Whatever is happening around him is just completely irrelevant back then.
Okay.
So um, he does not have an understanding of what autism is. He does not have an understanding of what relations are. He knows his close proximity people, but he doesn't know what a husband wife mean or what a mom dad would mean.
Hmm.
So I should not say it, but it is kind of a blessing in disguise
Disguise. Yeah.
for me that Revanche became, he's just indifferent of all these situations.
Hmm.
So for him, it did not make any difference if mom is not here or she was there, she is not here anymore. So it did not make any difference
He never
to her.
questioned it.
He never questions. He never did. I mean, he's unaware of it. For in his world, he's unaware of it. At the same time, yes, but I made sure that he should not get a feeling of being abandoned by mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Or
So
emotionally abandoned.
emotionally, yes. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be there for him in every situation. So probably this is the feeling of maternity or paternity that I have in my own self. And people,
So those days, those few months or days, how did you go about your routine? Like, was it different? Were you always with him? Were you assuring him verbally?
it was difficult back then. So
Yeah.
when it was diagnosed, we did not have COVID or lockdown. My office was functioning properly. It's just that I reached out to my managers for flexible hours. So I used to leave early for office, like before 7,
Okay.
to reach office like by 8 and leave for home at 4, such that I can be home by 5 to take Revanche for therapy at 5:30. So it was like a running around those days. For 9 months, my schedule had been like that. And luckily,
This is when you were going through divorce.
I was going through divorce and was taking Revanche for therapies also.
Hmm.
Luckily, my managers accepted the request and they gave me early start.
Hmm.
And one of my friends, he understood my situation that I also need help in those
Yeah,
moments.
yeah.
So he got his work hours adjusted, though he was not in
Hmm.
my organization. We used to just carpool to office.
Wow.
So we used to start early, reach office early, leave early for home, go home, take Revanche from home. He was just when I used to leave from office to home, I used to call that I'm on way, get revenge ready.
Mm,
Just reach home, pick, and get back to the car.
mm.
Not even a sip of water at home. In the car, then we used to go to therapy center. There, we used to drop him by 5:30. He used to take therapies for 3 hours.
But did this never, I mean, honestly, did it never ever occur to you that why me?
No, thankfully, no. This question everybody asks me that why do you see that why you? I see it. You know what I'm doing today? This is why me. I could do that. That's why me. It's not because why me. I want to crib about it. I am doing it today. How I'm handling it today. This is why me. Good things happen to good people. This is the good thing. This is the best thing which has happened to me. That I've evolved with this. That I learned with this. And that I was able to give a message to people. This is why me. God wanted me to do certain bigger things. This is why me. What? How else I should answer you? Why me?
Wow. I think you've just gone ahead and changed all of that for us. In
Yeah.
our, I mean, honestly, even I'm a parent to young children, and the question is always about that choices, yeah, priorities, yeah, मैं इतना कुछ कैसे करूं, or there's just too many, too much of multitasking. There's just too much of ask that life has. And
Yeah.
today, sitting with you, I just feel so small,
Not at
yet
all.
yet very inspired, very very
Thank you,
inspired.
Mamta.
I think this is, I don't know, maybe you were just showing a human being that what it is to be a human being.
Certainly. Okay. Whenever something happens, you have two choices: either to be the victim or to learn and move ahead, and prove the world that you can do certain things.
So, if you would like to invite someone who is an unstoppable human or would just want to have a conversation with me, write to me at unboundwithmamtaa@gmail.com. That is unboundwithmamtaa@gmail.com. You can also follow my Instagram @Mamta Podcaster. That is MAMTAA Podcaster. So what you're saying, if I'm listening to it, is you do the necessary,
That's it.
you do what is required one step at a time, and
That's it.
life will show up.
Absolutely.
Support will show up, people will show up, circumstances will show up.
या जो एक कहावत है ना कि मैं अकेले ही चला था और कारवां बनता गया. You have to start. You have to get start somewhere. That's when people will see and will keep on supporting you in your initiative. You are living your life right now at an age of 30, 35, 40, whatever it is, and you've learned things over the period. Recall your days when you were starting, and that's what expectation you should have from your kid. दिमाग में चल रहा है मुझे खाना बनाना है, मुझे बाहर जाना है,
Right.
मुझे
I
ये
have 10
काम
other
करना है,
things to do.
या मुझे
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
चीजें करनी है. 5 मिनट में काम खत्म करो, जल्दी खत्म करो. He's not doing in 5 minutes. Oh, I'm frustrated right now. Why? You have 10 things to do. The kid doesn't. You need to take those 10 things out. You need to prioritize your things. If you have 10 things on priority, do them first. Get free, then sit with the kid. You are getting frustrated because of your own behavior.
Yeah.
Because
So you-
of the fact that you are not able to manage your
Yeah.
things. Not because of the kid. That's it. And life will be simpler.
When we started this episode, I was so sure that I'm going to get to know a human and his challenges and his victories. But I think what I'm getting to know is also a parent, a teacher, a friend, a guide, a mentor. And there's just so many shades to you, Sandeep. Like in raising a child, I think you have really notched that game for yourself where you have risen by so many notches up and above. I mean, really really congratulating you
Thank you.
on that victory over yourself. And I think that is half the work done, that if you can question yourself and say that, okay, maybe I'm not doing it perfectly, maybe there are imperfections, or maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to learn more. Maybe I need to fare better
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
constantly.
yeah. And most importantly, life is a marathon. For me, I see it as a marathon. It is just that I keep on like doing it, and I keep on taking my breaks, which
Hmm.
is necessary. You have to have your refreshment points, to complete the marathon. This is what it is. So I keep on doing it, but at the same time, I'm realizing it that I need my me time. That's what I have
So
taken it out.
how
And
do you schedule your me time? I understood the morning part, but
morning part, yes.
what about your own your own friend circle? What about your own need to maybe go out and watch a movie or hang out with friends, or just unwind in
Yeah,
whatever ways
absolutely. I
that you,
do
or
that.
even holidaying? How do you both holiday together?
So this is also like I make sure I also take revanche out when needed, like every weekend or every alternate weekend. At the same, because okay, here's one more catch here, that I want my parents to also to take a break from him.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
I make sure that he's out of the house
House, yeah.
for some time, maybe for few hours or for a night also. Like I that's what I make sure.
And also that there is another angle to it, that you would want Revanche to have that social
Huh, yeah.
confidence, right? To
Yes,
face the world, to be
absolutely.
out there conducting himself in a certain way or manner. So that,
Yeah, this happens to me in two folds, that
yeah,
Revanche gets out, he also sees the outer world, and my
yeah,
parents also get a like breather and
yeah.
and their time out.
But is that a daunting task to take him out?
No, because I also make sure that the next weekend I go out alone.
Okay.
Maybe to watch a
That's a
movie,
smart
go on
one.
lunch or dinner. That's it.
That's a smart one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I have to be practical. I do not have many people at home. We are only four:
Hmm.
me, my mom, dad, and Revanche. If we all four are exhausted, we will not be able to conduct our duties or our
Yeah.
things for him.
So you have to take a break from each other as well.
Yes,
Wow.
that's what I make sure that Revanche goes out with me. He also to have his own time out there. Then I also make sure that I go out
Yeah.
any other time. So this is how it is for us.
Wow. Wow. Such a range of work that you are putting on children with special capabilities, or as we call them, autistic children.
Yeah.
This is about your journey.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it began with when my son was diagnosed with autism. So, like any other parent, I was also like shattered, devastated, stressed, and all those feelings happened to me, which happened to any other parent. But yes, then I learned that I will keep on doing my bit here. And while I was visiting the therapy centers and visiting doctors, then I realized that there's a need to spread awareness amongst the parents. The parent of any special kid consider them as burden, or they think that they have no future. They forget that each kid is different. They forget that their kid might have different capacity, different capability that they can develop.
Hmm.
So this is when I started with my own initiative, that I should be making people aware that instead of focusing just on the fact that the kid is autistic, they bought the label autism,
Hmm.
and they now see the kid from that lens.
Yeah.
So stop doing that. Let's change the perspective and develop if the kid has different capacities.
Hmm.
And that's it. It will make their life better. When you create a positive environment around the kid, they will flourish.
Hmm.
So this is a
True.
simple thing that I could see that, and that's when I started with my own initiative of creating videos on Instagram, how I function with my kid.
Yeah. So when the news broke, or the day that the doctors declared, so to say, or is it a declaration that happens step by step? How do you even discover autism, for example?
So for that matter, for any disorder, they have different question set or assessment questions
Hmm.
that they ask parents, and if the person may answer, they ask the person, or if they have some
Like the child
observation, like the
himself.
child,
Okay, okay,
if he or she maybe on different for different disorder.
okay.
So and they do some observations also with the kid while he or she is doing certain activities, how the kid plays, or how they react to certain things. So this is done over a period. This takes like 6 months
Okay.
for these assessments to be done,
To find it
to
out
find it out, to
and really
properly
assess.
diagnose.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
there are many disorders which are interrelated, which
Okay.
could look similar but are totally different.
Okay.
Like ADHD, ASD, they are like different. So they look similar but they are different, and
Okay.
one person with one disorder may have another disorder
Oh,
also.
okay.
This could be a case. So to diagnose properly that about that person, they need a longer duration time and
Yeah.
assessment. So after 6 months, the news, I mean, I was convinced by the end of last assessment that he has autism.
Hmm.
So it was, for me, it was already an acceptance in my heart that he has autism. And when the report came, I was not surprised. Then the doctor declared that this is the case, that he has autism. I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I my heart knew it already. So it was, I wouldn't say in a very positive way I took it, but it was not surprising.
Okay. And how about the rest of the family members? Was Revansh's mother a part of this session?
She was a part of the assessment
Okay.
sessions. She
Okay.
she cooperated that way. So
Okay.
we went to sessions, assessment sessions there.
About your parents, like how, because they are like another generation.
Yes, yes. For
So
them it took longer because
longer.
for them autism was something new.
New.
For them it was just that kid has not started to speak and he's
Hmm.
little slow. That's it. For them the autism word did not exist.
Yeah, they didn't see it coming at all.
Yes. So for them it was something new.
Mm.
And I mean, my father he still has challenges of knowing more about autism. My mother still does
Yeah.
her homework. She keeps on searching or scrolling YouTube about autism.
Okay.
So she has more knowledge on autism than my
Then your
father.
dad.
So
Okay.
it is that way. But yeah, it took them time. I was taking revenge for therapies, and they were like, "Why you take him for therapies? There's
Yeah.
nothing happening. There's no result happening. It's been 9 months. There's no result, no progress." But it was hard for them to understand that it takes time. It takes
Yeah.
longer time for anything to be to come into picture, to show results there.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, it took me 9 months for Revanche to be trained, like potty trained him.
Okay. But what about the world around you, Sandeep? When, this thing came to you, like the assessments came, the results came, how did you see any kind of a change in people around you?
Well, let me put it this way: people will see my life with the words I put into their ears, right? They, if I show them how challenging my life is, if I show them uh,
Stressed
how
out.
stressed I am, they will see me that way. So I was not willing to do that. I wanted to convey a good message. Despite that, it's okay. It's life. It happens. Nobody acquires a disability. Nobody chooses a disability for their kid or for their own self. It happens and it happens. That's completely fine. It should not change my perspective towards my life.
Yeah,
Or
and it can happen to anyone
yes,
anytime. I mean, we cannot be in that space of ego
yes,
thinking that this may not
this
hit
may not
us.
happen. Yes.
Yeah, people started visiting you, or you started, going out socially, moving around. How have has it has it ever been embarrassing for you?
Not embarrassing, but yes. Okay, I tell you one
Challenging?
incident. So
Yeah.
I was sitting at a doctor's clinic and we were waiting at the reception. Receptionist observed
Yeah.
Devansh for some time and then he says, "Isko koi mental problem hai kya?" That
Okay.
was my first. It was the first time when somebody confronted me
Confronted
like
you like
that.
that.
I was speechless. I looked at that person. I was just, I mean, I was not sure how to answer it, like what to tell him. But then I came back to myself. I mean, I still wanted to respond in a calmer
Yeah.
way, that,
Yeah.
because then I understood this is just the beginning. And moreover, people are not trained to talk.
Yeah.
People, they will still be using the words that they have learned by far. He still chose a better word, mental
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
But
Somebody could have
somebody could have used anything,
anything. Yeah.
right? So then I just said, is he has autism.
how does he take to this? I mean, is he aware that this kind of discrimination
Discrimination.
or a distinction is getting carried out,
Uh,
or is he aware that there is a world which is the way it is? I don't know whether he would look at that as a normal or this as a normal, whatever his perspective is, but there is a world, there is this my world, and then there is this other world. Does he have that
no, he has
distinction
no distinction
as yet?
as such, and I'm glad he doesn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, he functions in a different way, and that's completely acceptable,
Hmm.
respected, and he's
Hmm.
allowed to do that in my world.
Hmm.
So um, if we look at things in a different way,
Yeah.
somebody somebody flourish in an environment which is supportive.
Yeah.
So I want a supportive environment around him to flourish. If those people, if I impose him onto someone or onto his friends, after some time they will start avoiding him.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't want that.
Yeah.
Whatever time they give to him, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that's all right. At least he's accepted for that time period,
Hmm.
and that's all right. Hoping that they accept him and then imposing him onto them will affect me negatively,
Yeah.
them, then they will not be available at all.
So tell me about education, bringing knowledge. How are you really coping up? How do you see the part of the society or our education system in bringing up children? Because of course they are very very intellectually inclined kids, and they have very evolved faculties. So how do you go about it? Is he into a formal education right now?
He goes to a special education setup. I will
Okay.
not call it a school, but
Okay.
it is not formally, it does not have a formal like syllabus where
Hmm.
they teach kids like in a
Hmm.
school, mainstream school. But yeah, he goes to school wherein he's learning, he is being enabled for life. He gets his therapies there,
Hmm.
speech, occupational, special education, all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are unwinding his different capacities. um, Kid of his age might not know dinosaurs.
Hmm.
He knows A to Z dinosaurs names.
Okay. Wow.
He identifies dinosaurs with his by their names. He
By
can
then.
identify that at an age of 7.
Hmm.
Ankylosaurus, Archaeopteryx, Pteranodon. Even
Fumble
I
for
learned
words.
it.
Yeah.
I learned it now. He
Yeah.
can do that matchmaking. He
Wow.
has that. So this is how I'm finding things. He could write simple words without teaching him the spellings.
Okay. Okay.
He could just catch it maybe by looking on the books, or just we saying it.
Yeah.
So these are different capacities that we are unbinding. So first, for society, respect people as the way they are. Do not see them through the labels that they have been given. um, I'm not saying that you have to like every person with a challenging life.
Hmm.
You may still dislike them. It depends on your personal connect. But understand that your when we say disabled, what imprints in our mind? A person on wheelchair that gets imprinted. There's the common
Picture.
disability picture
Yeah.
that we see,
Yeah.
but not every disability is visible. So you need to acknowledge that. And of course, people might need help to carry out their life, who are living with disabilities.
Hmm.
You may extend your help, but at the same time you may also learn from them how to make life easier despite being disabled.
Hmm.
There are many things that they have. वो कहते हैं ना that necessity is the mother of invention. They might have done certain things or invented certain things for themselves to make their life easier.
Easier.
You
Yeah.
can also learn from them.
Wow.
It's a give and take relation. You go, you talk to them. The challenge becomes people talk about their challenges,
True.
but not how they have
Overcome them.
overcome it, and how we can learn from their life.
Yeah, I think we are always putting ourselves on a pedestal कि भाई मेरे उसके पास ये नहीं है मेरे पास ये है तो I am
I'm
only better off,
better
but
off.
उसके पास वो नहीं है
होते हुए भी,
despite
yes,
despite that if he is happy he's in a better space he's carrying out
absolutely. Then
things. Oh
how are they
wow.
carrying out?
Yeah,
And most importantly, they are more
that's a very
satisfied.
fresh perspective, Sandeep.
They're more satisfied,
Yeah, thank you so
right?
much for bringing that part. I don't think people get it at all, like
Yes.
they've ever seen that.
So there are many. These are the things that society should learn. I mean, just be open towards accepting these people, and they will teach you many things.
Yeah,
Second, for the parent,
parents.
it's just about accepting that the kid needs help, but do not sit back.
Hmm.
Accepting that the kid needs help.
Hmm.
You need to keep on making your efforts.
Hmm.
If my kid hasn't learned something which I repeated 50 times, I will still repeat at 51st time or 99 times or 100 times. I'll still keep on repeating until he learns. For the kids who are on spectrum, they follow a pattern. And people say, parents, ये तो एक ही चीज करता रहता है, ये तो एक ही
Hmm.
पैटर्न फॉलो करता है,
Yeah,
कितनी
yeah.
कितना क्या है?
Yeah.
That's your biggest strength. You do not have to think beyond that. You know their next move. You know what he's going to do next. You just need to change their habit and it will become the part of their pattern.
Hmm.
Simple. So things take time. I'm saying it that you know your kid's next move. So why not to change the pattern?
Wow.
You want to imbibe a habit, just be consistent until it becomes a pattern.
Yeah.
And that makes life easier for you and for them.
Yeah.
Your goal should be to enable them for life,
Correct.
right? Not to earn money for them.
Well, thank you so much for such an empowering perspective, and not only just perspective, but living by that example. We come to a very interesting part of the show, which is my personal favorite, and
Okay.
hopefully you will enjoy that too. We call it a rapid reflex round.
Uh-huh.
So for this, you have to give an answer to all my volley of questions that I'll throw at you in
Okay.
probably a word or maximum a sentence.
Okay.
Are you ready for this, Sandeep?
Okay. All set.
All right. Life to you is
Butterfly.
Lo-
Unpredictable.
oh so sweet. Love to you is
Um, love to me, that's a little tricky. Um, living your life in the moments with anyone you are with, that's love.
okay. Food to you is
A thing to satisfy my cravings at times, nothing more than that.
all right. You start your day with
I start my day with one sentence saying a beautiful day has started.
all right. You end your day with
Thanking God for the beautiful day I had. And it is really true.
all right. If not a kangaroo dad, you would be.
I happily single dad.
All right, all right. Your some of your favorite things that you do to pamper yourself. Maybe one or two you could tell us.
So there are many. I mean, cooking, baking, gardening, painting, resin craft. There are like many. I keep on exploring.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book, Gita, Bhagavad Gita. That had been a savior. I read these during COVID and during my times when I needed guidance. That really opened up the horizons.
Okay.
That helped me to stay connected but still stay disconnected and keep on doing my bit. कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन कर्म करते रहो फल की चिंता मत करो.
Beautiful. And one thing as a message that you just like to spread, just in a very short word or maybe a phrase, you want to leave the audience with that this is that one thing they should remember from this show, from this conversation, or from your life.
So live your life in the moments with your kids. And second, life is not just about happy moments. You will have ups and downs. Have patience.
Wow, I'm sure that will indeed pull us all through. Thank you so much for coming on to this show, sharing your joy, your journey, your light, your love, and so many learnings with us. Thank you so much for unbounding with me. Sandeep, it's been a true pleasure. And I would say, even beyond, it's actually an honor to have someone so unconditionally out there, just not for your own child, but now what you're doing with your work for the world.
Thank you so much, Mamta, for inviting. Actually, I mean, giving me this platform to talk about it. Yeah, it gives me strength that people, when people acknowledge and they get interested, they want to know more about these things. I mean, this is my personal interest. So thank you so much to you and to your entire team for reaching me out here, and I'm here for this show. Thank you.
Thank you. And I truly mean it with the bottom of my heart. And this is just on the parting note, I'd like to say that may there just be no limits, and you may expand exponentially. Thank you.
Thank
This
you
is
so
something
much.
I'm personally taking back from you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And for all the episodes, you can come back to Unbound with Mamta, now available on 20 plus audio streaming platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Ghana, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you get your audio. We are also available on YouTube at the Boss Hub channel. So keep unbounding together.